Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Mishmas. I'm sitting down to my breakfast here of scrambled eggs, blueberries, and sweet potato. That is my breakfast generally. Sorry, I just got a text. Good morning. How is everyone doing this morning? I am enjoying some coffee in my Tennessee bear mug. I've been cheating on Christmas bear mug because he's dirty. He's dirty and sitting in the sink, and I'm like, I just don't have, I don't have it in me to do the dishes right now. So today I thought we would do like an Ask Me Anything because many of you wanted me to do a 5 a.m. morning routine with you. Now, I happen to find those videos kind of boring, and I wanted to talk about why I started waking up at 5 a.m. because I think that's probably one of the biggest questions, and why I kind of continue to do it, and just give some, tips if it's something that you want to do. Start waking up at 5 a.m. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's like better than waking up at 7 or 9, like whatever suits your schedule. But if you are someone that has always wanted to experience and appreciate the early morning, like I do. I love the early morning. I have some things to mention. Anyway, since that does not a video make, I figured I would do some Ask Me Anything questions. I put out a call on Instagram and I got some really good questions. I also did it on my YouTube community tab. Anyway, I got some really good questions. So I figured today I would get ready with you, answer some of these questions. I'm terrible at putting on my makeup and talking at the same time. I mean, talking about something other than the makeup that I'm putting on at the same time, but we're gonna try it. Mishmas is all about experimentation. So that's what we'll do today. Let's open up these advent calendars. They're sitting right down there. Let's open up these advent calendars and then let's get to these questions. All right, guys, day 19. Not there. Here we go. Down in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh no, it is body cream, the English Parent Freesia body cream. Oh, love their body creams. So rich, so moisturizing. Okay, décolleté. Where is 19? Where is 19? Oh, it's over here. Okay, it's upper left. Perfumed hand cream with the Kimono Suya fragrance. That's what was in yesterday's, right? Yeah, yesterday's day was like that little sample. Oh, wonderful. Oh, there we go. Sorry, it was not focusing. I think that background messes it up. Anyway, the hand cream, Kimono Suya. Okay, day 19. Oh, here we are. We've got, Hair Ritual, the Precious Hair Care Oil. I love having this in the smaller size, so now I can travel with it. Yes. Okay, YSL 19. Ooh, Pure Shots Soft Polish Double Essence. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to look it up. Soft polish. I wonder if this is exfoliating. Like maybe there's a chemical exfoliant in there. I'll have to look it up. All right. Last but not least, for day 19, right here, we've got the Eau Capitale. It's not bad at all, but it's not my favorite because most of the diptyque fragrances are so unique. And this one actually doesn't smell very unique to me. It kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of other fragrances I've smelled. Can I name any of them? No, but it is reminiscent of other ones I feel like I've smelled. Wow, you guys came in with all the questions. This is a lot of questions. Thank you so much. I think I've said this before, but it's always a fear of mine asking for questions and like not getting any. So we are doing an Ask Me Anything, but the main reason why I even put out questions was because I wanted to talk about and answer probably one of the most asked questions I get just consistently over, the years that I've been blogging. I mentioned that I wake up at like 5 o'clock, between 4 and 5. And so many of you are like, why do you get up that early? Like, what is going on? So I just wanted to answer that and talk about that a little bit, but I didn't think that would make an entire video. And I wasn't gonna do a 5 a.m. morning routine. I already talked about this. I just think those videos are boring. So anyway, if you don't think they're boring, let me know if you want me to do one where it's like, one of those like no talking videos where I'm just like getting out of bed and then I'm brushing my teeth and, you know, one of those videos. I feel like I'm crooked. Hold on. Is that better? Okay, whatever. All right, so I am actually getting ready. I'm going out to dinner tonight with my husband. We're going to the new LPM restaurant. I'm very excited. So I do need to put on some makeup. I'm gonna start with my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base as primer. And if I get carried away and I forget to mention the makeup that I'm using or whatever, it will be linked down below, have no fear. So I'm just gonna start there. All right, so 5 o'clock, and then I'll get to your questions. I started waking up very early when I started training for the marathon in my early 30s. I was never a morning person. I want to say like in high school and in college, you know, just because of that lifestyle, I was, a night owl. I had no problem staying up late, 4 a.m., wake up at noon. That was pretty typical, especially for college. And then, of course, you graduate from college, you go to work, and then your hours have to shift. Had to be at work at 9, very typical. So slowly, my waking hours shifted. I think that's pretty natural for most of us. But it was really when I started training for the marathon in my early 30s, like I said, probably, did I start maybe? I think I started before that. Maybe I started when I was like 29. I started taking running very seriously and then really actively training for the marathon in my early 30s. Anyway, the thing about running long distance is not only is it, it's challenging and it's hard on the body or whatever, it just takes a lot of time. So on the weekends, my runs would be 3 hours, 4 hours long. And during the week, some of my runs would be an hour, 2 hours long. And you have to get that in before, or I would like to get that in before work. After work, you just never knew if you were going to be working late, if you, had dinner plans or whatever, and you really can't mess up with your training. And you have to be very, very consistent if you want to run a long distance. So I started waking up early then, on purpose. And at that point, I was very much doing the days that I'm running, I'm going to wake up really early. And the days that I'm not running, I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to wake up when I need to and not necessarily at the same time. So that's the stage I was in. And I'm using the Dr. Jart Premium BB Tinted Moisturizer. So that's the stage I was in at that point. And then, fast forward, 10 years maybe? So in my early 40s, time really has no meaning anymore. But I had a pug. This is the dog that I had before Butters. And the last 4 years of her life, so starting at about 9, because she lived until she was 13, were really, really rough health-wise. She started developing really, really bad pancreatitis. She became like a diabetic, and then she developed like epileptic seizures because of her insulin level being up and down. Anyway, long story short, she started waking up really, really early to go to the bathroom. And it became this thing where she got so old that she couldn't hold it in. And so, she was crate trained. And so even when we had her sleep in the crate, she would poop in the crate and then she would eat it. We didn't even put 2 and 2 together because she was just, when she started eating her own poop, she was pooping out like recycled poop basically. And if you dog owners out there, you know what I'm talking about, probably, maybe, hopefully not, but maybe. But the poop is very different looking and she was pooping more. And I was like, what is going on? And then I realized she was eating her poop. So anyway, what I had to do was have her sleep. This seems counterintuitive, but we had to have her sleep in the bed with us because that was the only way that I knew that she was getting up to go poop. So when she would move, I would get up. And so I felt like I had a newborn for like 4 years because if I had her sleep anywhere else, she would poop without us knowing it and she would eat it. So for about 4 years, that's how I lived. I slept with my pug in my bed, just on high alert. Anytime she moved, I was awake and seeing if she like literally got up. And as soon as she started to circle, I would get up, I would pick her up, and I would bring her over to like a mat. So because my pug's poop schedule was somewhere between 4 and 5 in the morning, I just started getting up then. That's literally why I started this habit. And it's not why I've continued the habit, obviously, because my pug, my dear pug, is long gone. But that's definitely how I got into the habit. I mean, you wake up at that time for 4 years straight, you will start waking up at that time naturally. So even after she left us, I kept waking up at that time, and I started realizing how much I enjoyed those quiet hours in the morning, those hours when no one else is awake. It is magical. You feel like you're the only person in the entire world. And I first discovered it when I was running, like I mentioned, and I would go out for a run in New York City. And this was one of the reasons why I actually started running, but you feel alone. You feel like you're the only person in the entire world. Obviously, there are people that are out, some people that are out at 5 in the morning. Usually there were kids coming back from partying all night. Boy, nothing made me feel older than that. But you know, when you're running and you're in the zone, and I never actually listened to music, but sometimes I would put headphones in just to kind of block out noise. It was great. It was great. You just really felt like you were the only person on earth. And so I just really got to enjoying those morning hours. And so I just kept those hours. And now, if I am not awake to see the sunrise, I feel like it's too late. If I've woken up and the sun is already up, I'm like, what did I miss? What's going on? And so I really like being awake or getting up when it's still dark out. That's my favorite. And then kind of experiencing the sunrise and it getting brighter. It just really helps me with the day. I know there's a lot of, habits of highly effective people or whatever. Those things are like, you know, what do all the CEOs in the world do? They get up early. I don't know. I don't know if I prescribe to that. I just feel like, you know, if you're a morning person, you're a morning person. You know, my husband is not a morning person. He never will be. It doesn't matter what kind of schedule I put him on, or no matter how hard he wants to try. He just never will be. And that does not mean he's never, you know, going to be a happy, successful person. So I don't know if I prescribe to that, but I know a lot of you ask me about it probably because you've seen, you know, articles or read books about that, you know, habits of healthy people or something. But it's just something I just personally really, really enjoy. I really, really enjoy being alone. I really enjoy quiet. And there's no other, even late at night, it just doesn't compare to early morning. It's really, really magical. It really is the only time I feel like I'm alone. And it's just, you could hear a pin drop. I love that. I absolutely love that. So that is why I started waking up at 5, and that is why I've continued to wake up really, really early. Now, a lot of you have asked me for tips or whatever. I don't, you know, training for the marathon, that's not a very practical tip. But I will say this, if you go to bed early, you will wake up early. And I know it's really, really hard to change that clock. You get into habits, you have your partner maybe, or roommate or whatever, you have fallen into a schedule or a routine, and it's really difficult to change. But if you really want to do it, you just set your schedule. You just go to bed early and you'll wake up earlier. Trust me, it will happen. The other thing that I told my husband, I'm like, if you want to wake up early, this is what you have to do. And he can't do it because I think naturally he just has like an evening cycle to him. There's a great book about sleep, by the way, by Matthew, I forget, he's British. Anyway, if I remember, I'll link it down below. You cannot do the like Monday through Friday wake up at 5 and then sleep in Saturday and Sunday, because all you're doing is giving yourself jet lag, basically. And you're gonna make your next week's, you know, Monday and Tuesday or whatever, really, really rough. So if you just want to start waking up at 5, just wake up at 5 every day. That's it. And I'm talking, you know, as you're getting into this habit, if this is a habit you want to get into. Of course, I go out late every once in a while. I sleep in every once in a while, but it's because I'm already in the habit. So again, it's that whole concept of consistency that I was talking about in my losing weight video or whatever. It's about doing it most of the time, and you really have to kind of kickstart it into a schedule. So, you know, definitely change your schedule, keep it for a consistent amount of days for as long as you can. And just keep trying to do that. And eventually your clock will flip, I have a feeling. If it doesn't, I think just be okay with it. Just know that you are either, there's like 3 types of people basically. Morning people, the majority of the human population, I think, have like a quote unquote normal sort of sleep schedule where they wake up, I don't know, somewhere between 7 and 8 and they go to bed around, 10 midnight or something like that. And then there's night owls, people who are A-okay staying up until like 4 a.m., not a problem, and sleeping until noon. And there's a very kind of like natural survival of the fittest kind of reason for that, for the human population to be segmented out this way so that we always had someone awake. So anyway, I'll try and remember to link that book because that's where I got it from. I'll try and remember to link that book down below. But he talks about birds and how they'll like sleep with one eye open, or there'll always be someone awake or whatever. So yeah, I think I'm just naturally a morning person. And my husband is just naturally like a night owl. And I think that's just the way it goes. So that's all the news that's fit to print around the whole 5 a.m. situation. People are always like, what do you do at 5 a.m.? I'm like, whatever you do at 8 a.m. I get ready for the day or whatever. Just my day is just like moved forward. So people, stay up until like 10, 11, 12 o'clock. They're still doing stuff or whatever. I'm out. I'm in bed at like 8 o'clock. I'm asleep by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I just have it shifted, that's it. That's all. That's all. Maybe I'll powder a little bit. I've got my Prism Libre powder here. And let me move over to Instagram. So I'm gonna go to the bottom of the list because I think they do come in order. I got a lot of questions about my husband. This comes up every time, and I get it. I never show him, and I have new viewers here or whatever, and I know it's probably a little bit odd to talk about him but not show him. He's a private person. He doesn't want to be on camera for no other reason than like it's not his jam. And so now I just make sure I keep him out, and for no other reason. It's not anything insidious or anything too deep or whatever. He just doesn't like it. He's just not comfortable. Like I said, he's a very private person, and he would just rather not. Is he like completely opposed to it? I mean, no. I think if I begged him to come on camera, like, come on, let's do a husband and wife Q&A, he'd be like, okay. But he just would rather not, basically. So just trying to respect that because, this isn't what he signed up for. This isn't what he signed up for all those years ago. So I'm not going to force it on him. That is, why my husband is never on camera. It's just a preference. That's all. Okay. How are you liking your new car? You guys, I love my new car. So if you missed it, I bought a dream car for my 50th birthday. And I got a Porsche 911. And I had gone from a Range Rover Velar to a Porsche 911 because I never got comfortable in a bigger car. I just never really liked driving it around. Every time I would pull into a parking space, I had to like back out and kind of straighten myself out. It was like I could never maneuver it properly. And, I thought, why do I even have this big car? It came in handy every once in a while, but I don't have kids. My dog is 16 pounds. It's like I would use it when I had guests, more than one guest come over, which is very rare. And so I thought, you know what? My husband has a car that fits 5 people very comfortably. If we ever need to swap, we can swap. But I'm downsizing. I'm going down to a smaller car. And Butters just walked in. And, I learned to drive in a 2-seater roadster car, with a stick shift and manual steering and all that. And so I think someone actually mentioned this. It's like whatever car you learn to drive in, like that's always going to be the type of car you feel the most comfortable in. And it's funny, this Porsche is I didn't have a Porsche when I was in high school, but it's very similar to the car that I started driving in fact that it's like very, very low to the ground, which I prefer. It is small, and I'm just so much more comfortable in a smaller car and a car that's low to the ground. I feel like I can maneuver. There's something also about being able to like scan out when you're lower versus being higher up. I feel like I was always scanning down. I feel like I always had blind spots. I don't feel like I have one blind spot in my car. It just really, really suits me. It also makes the best sound. It's just this low, low, low purr, which I really, really love. So I'm loving it. I'm so glad I went with it. I was like, 95% sure this was the car for me, but you never know till you spend some time with it. And I thought, God, God, am I gonna regret going down to something so small? You know, am I gonna feel weird driving this car, you know, to the supermarket or just, you know, running everyday errands or whatever? And I don't. It's not a super flashy car. It's a sports car, so I definitely have attracted some very interesting attention. Generally from males, I usually get like a thumbs up or like a high five. It's very strange. It's very, very strange. So many times in parking lots, I'll get the, is that your car? And I'm always very wary. I'm like, oh God, what's gonna happen? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, nice car. I'm like, thanks. Anyway, so yes, I'm loving my new car. Like no regrets. So glad I downsized. All right, I'm gonna do a little bronzer here. I'm gonna do the Tom Ford Terra bronzer. Your great skin. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Do you think genetics or really skincare matters? I think it's both. Like most things, I think it's both. I think you can have great genetics and really screw it up if you don't take care of it. And I think, you know, you can start out with very poor genetics, and if you really take care of something, whatever it is, your skin, your health, I think you can really turn it around. It just kind of depends. I think we've all seen that picture of like the twins where one was a smoker and one's not a smoker. So they have, you know, ostensibly the same exact genetics. And one didn't take care of themselves and one did, and you can see a huge difference in their skin. So I think, you know, there's definitely a component to both. So when I was younger, I definitely did not take care of my skin, as you guys have heard me talk about. Oh God, I thought that was an eyebrow hair. I was like, wow, they're really growing like crazy. I think you guys have heard me mention, I used to be a smoker, a heavy smoker. I used to sunbathe a lot. And then, you know, as you get older, you kind of stop doing those things. You wise up to what's happening. And now I wear SPF and all of those things. And so I do think my skin would probably look a lot more damaged if I didn't have good genetics. And I think I take very, very good care of my skin now. I always wash it. I always moisturize. I do put SPF on every day. So to answer your question, I do think both things are important, but I think if you're born with poor genetics, you can really turn it around by taking care of yourself. Ooh, future travel plans, bucket list destinations. I do have some future travel plans, which I will talk about more in depth in another video. Bucket list destinations. There's one on my list and it's Patagonia. I've mentioned this before, people have asked me this before, but I really want to check it out. I really want to go horseback riding, which I've never done. I want to go horseback riding. I want to, go hiking. I want to take a tour of the whole area. I just think it looks so beautiful. It is literally at the other end of the world. And I just think it would be so neat. So neat. Do you like cats? I do. I like cats. I'm allergic to them, which is why I don't have them. How do you, oh, you guys are so nice. I just had a question. How do you keep such wonderful skin? I don't know if the video went up. I think it's coming out tomorrow, but I talk about my skincare. So definitely stay tuned for that. How's your brother doing? Oh, I swear there was a video you mentioned a brother who's a detective. Yes, he's fine. He's retired. He really has had some health issues. He fought, cancer, several different kinds of cancer because it spread, but he's okay now. It's almost like a blessing in disguise that he got these cancers when he was young. His body could, basically recover. But yeah, he's doing okay. He's thankfully retired, safe and sound. When's the next declutter? It's coming. It's coming towards the end of Mishmas. I'm saving it for when everyone's cozy with their hot cocoa and ready for a really long declutter. I'm gonna do it all in one video. Does your hubby get upset with your spending shopping like most of our husbands? That really makes me sad to hear. No, my husband does not get upset with me. I don't really understand that. I don't know if I would be with someone who would get upset with my spending. It's our money. If he wants to spend it in a certain way, he does. We just trust and believe that each of us are being responsible, that we know how much we can spend, and whatever we do buy without discussing it with the other person is not going to endanger our financial standing or our bank account or anything like that. And it's interesting to me because I think there becomes this dynamic that is created very, very early on in a relationship. And all I can say is, I'm not speaking to your personal situation or whatever, but I've seen this a lot, and I just think it's such a bad idea. But people start to use money as sort of a power play in the relationship, and you've got to stay away from that. Like so many of my female friends I've heard in the past, I think we've all kind of wised up or whatever, we've gotten older and more mature, but in the past, almost like this weird, I don't know, like power shift. Like I remember a friend of mine, every time she got upset with her husband, she would go out and buy something expensive. I was like, I don't even understand that, because your money is one pool. You're basically just, if you can't afford it and you just put yourself into, I don't know, credit card debt, you're just screwing yourself. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Or if I had another friend, every time her husband would, I don't know, like go on like a trip with the boys or whatever, she would be upset and then go out and spend money. And I'm like, okay, whatever we're doing is not healthy. This is not, you know, this, it kind of, you're kind of setting your relationship up for just like a really poor form of communication. First of all, it's very passive aggressive. I'm just going to show you how angry I am by buying something really nice for myself. It's very weird. And then like not really talking about what the issue is. And, you know, if your husband is upset with you for buying something expensive because as a unit, as a team, you guys are a team in this life, you can't afford it, then maybe he has a right to be upset, but he needs to talk to you about it and be like, okay, this was a very irresponsible purchase. Are you able to return it? We already can't afford X, Y, and Z, and you just went out and bought, you know, a Louis Vuitton handbag. What's going on here? Like, we need to get to the bottom of the problems and not just attack the symptoms. It just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. And, you know, using money as like a form of power in a relationship is just bad form. It just gets bigger and bigger and more out of control. And money, I think, is the biggest reason people divorce. So you don't want it to you don't want it in the middle of your relationship. It's part of your relationship. It's something you guys need to talk about and work through. And again, just like act like a team on it, you know, like talk about your finances, do the bills together, see what you have, see what you want to plan for the future, see what you want to save for. And if you both feel responsible for the financial health of your relationship, you're both going to act in a very responsible way. So let's be responsible with our money. If you splurge a little bit and maybe you shouldn't have, and your partner, whoever it is, male or female, your partner is upset with you, maybe talk it out. Maybe be like, you know what? I'm not good with credit cards. Take these away from me, whatever it is. But the financial health of your relationship is up to both of you, and it is reliant on communication and being responsible and being like a responsible, mature adult. So anyway, I hope, that was a really long answer, but I see that a lot because obviously I haul a lot of expensive things and things that I like to purchase. Obviously, they have nothing to do with my husband, like handbags and makeup or whatever, but he knows I'm responsible. I'm using my own cash. I'm not charging these things. I'm not taking, 18 months to pay off a handbag or anything like that. He knows this. He trusts me. So that's sort of like the basis that you have to have in your relationship. I'm going to use my Kier Weiss cream blush in Blossoming. I'm going to use my mini base brush. Ooh, this is a good one. Is there a brand or designer that you used to love but not anymore? I still really like this brand, but I loved this brand before, and that would be Pat McGrath. I really like Pat McGrath. I still, as a makeup artist, I love Pat McGrath. But in terms of her makeup line, I just feel like it's stalled a little bit. I feel like I'm kind of seeing the same things. She's come out with some new products like blushes and bronzers, but they've been very nice, but they haven't wowed me. They haven't been products that I think Pat McGrath would come out with, like the level of product that she would come out with. Something really special, and I don't feel like her products have been very special lately. Does that make sense? They're all fine. And her makeup, is great. It all works really well. Her eyeshadows are beautiful, but I don't know. I just feel like the luster has come off over the past several months, maybe over the course of this year. Just, my love has waned a little bit. Not too far, because like I said, I still really like her makeup and her makeup line. I still love her. But yeah, I want to be wowed, you know? I want to be wowed again, and I just have not been wowed lately. Okay, I'm going to use my medium fan and go into my Clé de Peau. Let's see, what's the next question? Who is your dream dinner party guest, living or dead? This person is long dead, but I have always had a fascination with Queen Elizabeth I. What a time for a female monarch to rule, and to rule for as long as she did, and to basically, I mean, what a tumultuous time she had between, you know, her father's legacy, which is crazy, and then, you know, just everything that was going on, and then just reigning when like Shakespeare was around. Just like what a crazy time. And so I would love to have her at a dinner party and just ask her like the tea, like what the hell was going on, and like how did she do it? How did she navigate all of that? And, you know, just ask her what would she have changed? Any regrets? Does she regret not ever having children? Does she regret, you know, any of the choices that she made? Just really get down and dirty with Queen Elizabeth. How will you celebrate Christmas this year? Probably by staying in bed. So Mishmas, as much as I enjoy doing it every year, is rough. It is, I'm not gonna lie, it's rough. And so when I'm done with it, I am going to probably stay in bed for about 3 days. I will have food brought to me, either on the back of Butters or my husband, or I'll pay someone to bring it to me. Yeah, so that's how I'll be celebrating Christmas. I think my mom will come over, but I think I have an aunt and uncle here. They're actually gonna be traveling. They're in China right now, and I think through until like the new year. And yeah, so that's it. Those are my plans. Staying in bed and just staring out into nothing, not having a screen on, not looking at a screen, my computer, my iPhone, my vlogging camera, the television, nothing. I just want to maybe read an actual book. Yeah, that's what I'm doing for Christmas. How do you manage your money? Well, my husband works in finance, and he manages money. So he manages our money, which is great, because I went to business school. That's where we met. I went to business school as well, but I am not that good with managing money. I have the basics down. I can do the basics, but yeah, he does all the management, which is great. And he sits and he explains everything that he does. I look at the statements. I'm on top of it as well. I ask him questions when I have them. So he does. 2024 goals for your platform. Your content is so inspiring. Oh, any new plans? Thank you. That's my one dream, to have content that's inspiring. So thank you very much. Goals for my platform. Of course, all the numbers, while I wish they didn't matter, they do. So I would love to grow my subscriber count, of course, increase my, average views per video, all those things. But in terms of content, I really want to continue what I've been doing, because I really made a shift this past year. I don't know how recent of a viewer you are to my channel, but this year I really made the effort to do more vlogging. And I used to, when I started my YouTube channel, and probably for the first 4 or 5 years, all I did were sit down talking head videos. And they're great. They're great. They're very informative. But I wanted a way to connect with my audience a little bit more. And I felt that vlogging really has been able to help me do that. That was my suspicion, and that's what I wanted to do, and I feel like that's what I'm doing. So I wanted to continue, basically, just doing more vlogging, having the occasional sit-down video, because I do think for some types of information that is the best way to get my point across, or whatever. Or just, if like a palette really excites me, I want to do a sit-down video and let's talk about it. Let's watch it. Let's try it. Let's break it down. So, I'll definitely continue to do those, and like favorites and things like that. But I really like having diversified my content. My sit-down videos were basically all beauty-related videos, and with the vlogging, I'm able to do more lifestyle. I'm able to throw in some more fashion stuff, and these are all of my loves. I mean, I love makeup, yes, absolutely, but fashion is actually my true first love. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I, was drawing outfits or whatever when I was really little, like I love, love, love fashion. I studied it a lot. Most of my friends work in fashion. So it really is nice to be able to talk about that as well. It's a whole different beast. I just thought, okay, I'll talk about fashion too. But it is very, very different from talking about makeup. And that's been a real learning curve over this past year. So anyway, those are my plans. So expect to see a lot more, and hopefully I'll be able to really polish up my vlogs and stuff. I like watching vlogs, and every time I watch other people's vlogs, I'm like, oh, it's like so good. Like I'm watching like a TV episode, and when I'm editing one of my vlogs, I'm like, oh, so choppy. Like I just hope I'm able to just get a little bit more comfortable with vlogging content, because as you can imagine, it is incredibly different from, doing a sit-down video, presenting information in an organized fashion, and editing that and all of it. So anyway, so expect to see more, but maybe a little bit better. What are your comments after using your Porsche for a while? It is small. It is not, if you have children, it is not an everyday car for someone who has children. It's an everyday car for me because I'm just basically moving myself around. It is a loud car, so it's not a car I feel like I can vlog in. I used to vlog when I had my bigger SUV. I just put the camera on the dashboard and I would just talk to you while I was driving. It was great. I can't do that in the Porsche. I got the sound reducing back windshield also. It's just too loud. It sounds like the engine is right behind. It is behind me, but it sounds like it's right behind me. So that is definitely something. If you're a vlogger and you're looking for a new car, that I wouldn't get. What else? I love it. I love it. I think my only minor complaint is it has a trunk in the front. So it's a frunk. And it's just super manual. Like you have to click it open and then you have to go in, unlatch it, and then flip it up. I really miss having the button where it closes, and a button or a foot thing that I can just wave my foot around and it opens, not just unlatches. I would really like that. Like a trunk on most cars, I would like as the frunk in the Porsche. But that's really it. I would say that's my only very minor issue with it. I love it. I love it. Drives like a dream, as you can imagine. Drives like a dream. I love the size. And I can't emphasize this enough. I love being low to the ground. You just have so much more control. So yeah, I love it. Oh, so I got a couple questions. One was asking about my brand, and one was, do you still sell gold jewelry? So no, I don't sell any more jewelry. I sold out of what I had. I'm pretty much sold out of my sweatshirts. I have a few random sizes left, and I have some of my shawls. They're there if you want to purchase them. But I have thought really, really long and hard about my brand, and I just don't know how I want to move forward. I could. I don't want to say I don't. It's just, I want to see if there's another way for me to move forward versus what I had been doing, which is very small batch, limited, one run sort of, merchandise, and then selling and packing it all myself. It is an undertaking, to say the least. It is really, really a big job for one person, even having just a limited stock. I just have 1,000 of these and that's it. When they're done, they're done. But for 2 or 3 weeks, it is like a 24/7 situation. And, I keep thinking, is there a better way to do this? And, there is, obviously, you warehouse it and all that stuff, but that's for a much bigger operation. That's for a business that is continuous, that has new product coming out all the time, that's ordering things by the tens of thousands, not by the hundreds. And so, I have to think, what do I want to do? Do I want to financially commit to that? Because it is a ton of money, which you may not even get to the final product. It's a very, very daunting, it's a very scary process, because you can go through all of the research and trying this and trying that, and you may never even end up getting to the final product, and you may run out of money before then. So it's something I would like to do, because it's very, very gratifying to see something you've created, in the flesh, and then to have you guys be able to enjoy it and love it as much as I do. There's really nothing more gratifying, but I have to be honest with myself. Is that what I want to do? And at what scale do I want to do it at? And et cetera, et cetera. So I'm still thinking about it. But right now it's at a standstill. We're on pause right now. How do you think your style or content you choose to film changed over the past year? I guess I just talked about that, just more vlogging, more well-rounded content between the beauty, fashion, lifestyle, and less like sit-down videos. Do you consult with other YouTubers and creators on how to reach their goals? Consult is definitely a very strong word. No, I don't consult, but we definitely talk and we definitely give each other feedback. If I've heard things like, oh, hey guys, I heard, I don't know, the algorithm is really looking at views now instead of thumbs up, whatever it is, I'm making stuff up. That news will get passed around like, oh yeah, I heard that, or like, oh, did you hear about this? So we do talk, but no, I've never consulted other YouTubers. I don't think I'm not qualified for that, for sure. I don't know enough about like the inner workings of YouTube to be able to do that. Top 3 favorite movies. Oh God. I don't know. Jeez Louise, that's tough. That is tough. I'm gonna put on some lip gloss because I'm feeling like my lips are a little dry. Top 3 favorite movies. Top 3 favorite movies. Okay, one is The Mission with Robert De Niro and Jeremy Irons. Old movie. I think that came out in 86 or 87. I think it won like Best Picture or whatever. It is absolutely fantastic. It is, wow, really gets you. Really gets you right here. What else? I love The Hours. I love that book too, by Michael Cunningham. The movie was great. I think there was a lot of attention put towards Nicole Kidman's nose. But if we can look past that, it is a fantastic story. Just such an interesting story that I think was inspired by Virginia Woolf because like the timelines are very organic, I guess you could say. And it's what a moving story. It's really incredible. The Hours. Another favorite movie. I feel like I have to say like a comedy or something. There's so many. I love Elf. I love Old School. Oh no. Okay, are you ready? Trading Places. Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, it's gotta be Trading Places. That's like one of those movies, if it's ever on, it has to stay on. I have to watch it. So yeah, Trading Places. I have a lot, but I think that's a good representation of what I like. The Mission, The Hours, and Trading Places. Would you move to Europe one day? I would. I had such a great time in London, in Milan, I don't know if I'd move to Florence, but I had a great time in Florence. But London, Milan, Paris, I would move to any of those cities. I don't know, like logistically, what's involved and if it's actually feasible, but let's say there were no barriers to entry, I would absolutely move there. You know what? I was just reaching for my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude out of habit, but I'm gonna use the green brown palette since I just talked about this in my absolute favorite video. Okay, so next question. Will you visit Orlando, Florida? It's lovely here. So funny, I was just Marco Poloing with Teresa is Dead, and I was like, I need to come out and visit you. Like, we haven't seen each other in a while because she's from New York, I'm from New York, and not that we ever saw each other while I lived in New York, but whenever I visited, at least it was an option, and I did meet her once in New York, and then I moved here, and then she moved to Florida. So anyway, I told her, if you're not coming to Vegas, I'm coming to Florida. So who knows? Maybe that will happen sometime soon. I really enjoy her and her husband, Alex. They're just so funny. They just have such a great sense of humor. Obviously, you guys have all been privy to that, but yeah, they're just a lot of fun. So Orlando, Florida, maybe, or around Orlando, because I don't think they're right in Orlando, but maybe sometime soon, because I know they're close. Did you end up liking the candles from Last Candle Co.? Oh, do they have a good throw? And also, I see another candle question. Do you distinguish between candles with natural versus synthetic scents? Do you notice a difference? I don't. I don't actually know what has synthetic and what has natural. And the definition of synthetic can be very, very broad. And I was actually explained to this by a perfumier, I think they're called, someone at Guerlain. And they said, even if you take a natural let's say a natural molecule fragrance, and you extract the fragrance out of that just to make it more pure, that is automatically considered synthetic. So it's a very broad term, and I'm not sure it's considered in the right ways all the time. But with that being said, there are definitely candles out there that when I burn them, they give me a headache immediately. Bath and Body Works is an example. I bought some of their really big candles. I was like, oh, this is great. I can just have some big candles laying around or whatever. They're, very reasonably priced. And I lit them. I think one was, it was like a eucalyptus or something. I was like, oh, this will be great in the bathroom. I had a raging headache from that candle, like a migraine. I was like, oh no, blew that one out. I think I tried another one. Again, same thing, raging headache. What was the other one? It was, I can't remember. This is years ago. This was probably 7 years ago. And so when I get my diptyque candles, my Cire Trudon candles, my Jo Malone candles, I never have that particular problem. I never get a headache from those candles. So I don't know if that's like a synthetic versus natural. I don't think so. So I do occasionally have a very strong physical reaction to candles. What is going on? Why is, God, this eye is so much darker than this eye. Weird. Ooh, just had to change my battery, which is always a sign that I've been talking for too long, but I've got such good questions here. Okay. Could you please suggest a brown liquid eyeliner? My favorite liquid eyeliner is from Surratt. I'm pretty sure they have a brown one. Would you consider moving back to New York? Absolutely. Every day. Oh, every day. I think I was zoomed in before. Is that better? I would move back to New York in a heartbeat. I would still like to have a home here in Vegas because I do enjoy it here very much. So I don't know, one day maybe I'll be able to afford 2 homes. One there, one here, but I would absolutely move back to New York. I miss it. And in fact, I was just telling a friend that maybe it's because of the holidays, but I was feeling very homesick. I was, just kind of daydreaming that I was just like walking around, in the village or whatever, just going into bakeries, hanging out, meeting people for brunch. I was just kind of daydreaming. And I kind of snapped out of it and I was like, oh, but I'm here. Anyway, so yeah, I would. Does your hubby wear all designer like you? Is he bouge? Ha ha ha. He is not. He definitely appreciates it. I did get him that Hermes belt, which he loves. He wears every single day. But no, it's not his thing. It's not his thing. He, is happy with Uniqlo stuff he really likes. He really likes, the stuff that he's picked up at Costco. He really likes that. When we go to the outlets, he'll like bulk shop and just get some, dress shirts or whatever there. Yeah, he appreciates it for sure. Like sometimes when I go shopping, he'll come with me and he's always admiring the clothes, but it's just not his thing. So anyway, does aging concern you and what are you doing to live a longer lifespan? Aging, it concerns me in that I don't want to have like a poor, quality of life. That's my only concern. I don't necessarily want to live any longer than I'm planning to. Does anyone plan to live a certain amount of time? Like, there's all that talk about, is his name Brian Johnson? He wants to, kind of reverse his aging. He wants to live forever. People equate him to like being an elf. I have absolutely no interest in living a really long time. No. There's a reason why we have a lifespan. I'm just not into that idea. 100 years, great. And then let's call it a day. Best way to handle judgy comments when buying luxury nice things. I think maybe I've gotten rid of all of those viewers. I really haven't gotten judgy comments in a while. I remember when I first started doing YouTube it was beauty videos, and I was covering a lot of stuff. I covered maybe like 1 or 2 drugstore things, but generally like all the stuff at Sephora and then some luxury stuff. And then my interest really was in the luxury makeup. I thought, let me just niche down. Let me just talk about that stuff. And when that happened, when that became my focus, I got a lot of judgy comments. People weren't used to it or whatever. And I thought, well, if this isn't your thing, this isn't your thing. And so those kind of faded away. And then when I started talking about, like luxury handbags and things, yeah, the judgy comments came in or whatever. I still get them every once in a while. I don't know. They're so silly. I just feel like, okay, if that's how you feel, I don't know. I don't get emotionally involved in comments, especially in the comments about expensive things. Okay, like that's it. That's all I think in my head. I'm like, okay. It's just not a big deal to me, probably because I have found that any negative type comments that bother me because either I thought it or there's like a little ring of truth in there. But I am so comfortable in purchasing what I like, spending however much money I want on something. I do not care about anyone else's opinion. So when I get comments like that, I just don't care at all. Let me put on some eyeliner. I still cannot find my Hourglass Cave eyeliner. I'm so annoyed. You guys want to hear a weird question? Colon cancer is on the rise in young people. Have you been tested? First of all, I'm not a young person. Second of all, that is a weird question to ask like a 50-year-old. I'm okay. I have a mom. I know how to take care of myself. Okay, we're just gonna move on. I'm not sure what this question is referring to. It just says children, ? I don't have any, so I don't know if that was the question. How long did you do YouTube before quitting your job? How did you know when to quit? I was doing YouTube, again, I have all the years muddled in my brain. So I started doing beauty YouTube in 2017. I almost said 2007. Whoa, 2017, right? Yeah, because it'll be 7 years next February. Can you believe? February 4th is the first time I posted a beauty video. I don't remember if it was 2019 or 2020. I think it was 2020 when I left my job. Wait, that would have been during the pandemic, right? Maybe it was 2019. So 2 years. And that decision was pretty much made for me. So I was working as the design director at a yarn company. And that yarn company was sold to people that I did not want to work for. And so I quit. And so it wasn't a choice. I did not want to work for them. I was not going to work for them. Maybe 2 years. Yeah, it was premature. It's not something I would have done if that company wasn't sold and I was going to continue working with the people that I had always been working with. I would have stayed, I'd probably still be there, possibly, but I had to leave. How do you determine whether a luxury item is overpriced or not? I mean, you're gonna hear the business school come out of me. I let the market determine that. I mean, if Hermes sets their Birkin price at $12,000 and they are still selling out of it, that's the price. That's the price of the bag. If Chanel continues to raise their prices and they continue to sell out, they're going to continue to raise their prices. That's just supply and demand. But if you're asking, like, how do I decide for myself whether I want to pay the price for something or not? If it's something that I really want and it's something that I happen to be able to afford, then I will get it. I don't know. I don't put that much thought. And this is actually something Laura and I talked about while she was here. I don't have anxiety. I'm not riddled with what if. I don't think about the past and I don't think about the future. I'm very just of the here and the now, which has served me well in some cases and served me really poorly in other cases. I'm not a great planner. So sometimes when it comes to shopping, that also has not served me that well. But generally, if I like something and I can afford it, I will get it. If I can't afford it, then I move on. And some people make lists and they're like, oh, I've been wanting this for so long. I finally have the money. I get it. I'm like, I can't even remember what it was I really wanted 8 months ago. I can't. I move on. And I also just don't take it that seriously. I spent my money on it. You can always make more money. If you regret it, it's a regret. Try not to make it next time. Why do you regret it? It's the size, the color, the shape, whatever it is. It was too much. Then you've reached your personal threshold. then you know not to spend that much anymore. But we learn with every experience. We learn with every purchase. Oh, Cat_LSM. She's here on YouTube. She is a friend of mine over in Singapore. I think that's where she's working out of, but she travels quite a bit in that part of Asia. Anyway, what's your best and worst moment of 2023? My best moment? I think my best moment was when I was in Paris with my husband at the Louvre, and we saw, I like laid my eyes on that winged victory statue for the first time. It was probably the most emotional I've ever gotten in my entire life. I started to tear up. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's so powerful, and it's bigger than you think it is. And I mean, it's inspired so many people and so many things that I'm not really surprised. But that, I would say, is my best moment of 2023. My worst moment? I'll have to think about that. 2023 has been a pretty good year, I have to say. Got a lot of travel in. It was fantastic. Work is chugging along. I still enjoy what I do. No complaints. I got my dream car. I turned 50. It's just been such a great year. I'm surrounded by friends, loved ones. Really can't ask for much more. But I'm going to think on that. I'm sure there's a worst moment in there somewhere. Let's see, you mentioned Joe Dispenza meditations. Can you please share which one you are doing? I can. I would not do any of his meditations without reading the associated book, or at least watching some of his videos, because you won't know what you're supposed to be doing. You won't know why he's talking the way he talks, which is very weird. You won't know why you're doing that breathing and all that kind of stuff. So the book that I read, let me just share with you. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. This is the book. And the associated meditation, this one, it is meditation, well, I could have just said that. Meditations for breaking the habit of being yourself. And if you happen to purchase this bundle off of his site, there's an introduction, and then there's 2 versions of the meditation. One is a water rising version, and then one is just a body parts in space version. They are both over an hour and 10 minutes, so definitely a commitment, definitely a time commitment, but I do like doing them, not first thing, but I like doing them after I've done, I've drank my coffee, I've done my word games, things like that, and I just need to get to a place. I will do the meditations, but they are very intense. I'm not sure an hour-long meditation is for someone who's just starting out. He has other versions on his site. Maybe give those a shot, or see if there's any others associated to the book. I'm not sure, but that's the one that I've been doing for a very long time. Sometimes I just pull up, him talking about the stuff, because sometimes you need to just reinforce his teachings and what he's saying, because it is so scientific. It's wait, why am I doing this again? And it's, everything is very multifaceted. So sometimes I just putting on a YouTube channel, maybe an interview of his, and I'll just close my eyes and I'll just listen to what he's saying, just to kind of reacclimate myself to everything. So anyway, that is the meditation that I listen to. Teresa's husband, Alex, wrote, steak when, ? Honey, anytime. I feel like they really need to come out to Vegas, don't you think? With the restaurants here and everything. I mean, I know Florida's no slouch either, but I just feel like we'd have such a fun time in Vegas. What happened with your assistant? Is she still working with you? No, she is not. She had a much better opportunity. So she's moved on to greener pastures. I'm so happy for her, but she got a full-time job, benefits, all that kind of stuff. I was like, take it, please take it. So I'm on my own again. Cry. I am a new subscriber. Can you tell me a little bit of your background and why you started your channel? Oh my gosh, here's the short version, because this has gone on long enough. I was a knitwear designer, and I had a little yarn store. I closed down the yarn store because it was just a pop-up anyway. It was only open on the weekends, but I really liked connecting with customers. It was something that surprised me. So I thought, how can I continue connecting with people? It was really, it was just nice. And I just, I'm very introverted, and I just never thought that would be something that I really appreciated and I missed when I closed the store. So YouTube was, I thought, maybe a way that I could connect with people just from my living room. And so that's why I started YouTube. I have a bunch of like knitting videos up. I think I've privated those because I don't talk about that anymore. But I had some knitting videos up, and I talked about, some of, projects that I was knitting, things like that. And then I moved over into beauty because that's why I was watching YouTube. So I thought, well, it looks like so much fun. Let me give it a shot. And that's how it started. What is something that your followers would be surprised to learn about you? I'm pretty much an open book. Like when you see me on my vlogs, like that's me. Oh, you know what? I curse like a sailor. I have a potty mouth, and I don't do it on YouTube because, well, one, it's unnecessary, and two, you'll probably get demonetized. But I'm an adult. I've worked in corporate America. I wasn't allowed to walk around the office just shooting my mouth off. But I do have a potty mouth. So off camera, when I'm with my friends, I definitely curse a lot more. So I don't know if that would be surprising to you guys. I mean, I am, from New York. I grew up in Jersey. I lived in New York for a very long time. That should not be surprising to anyone from the New York area. We all curse a lot. Oh, wow. I have a couple questions about goals. So I'll do that in a future Mishmas video. God, these are deep questions. Holy smokes. Listen to this one. Does experiencing a life of abundance ever lead to moments of introspection for you? Not only in terms of gratitude, but more regarding the possession of numerous luxury items that may rarely or not ever be put to use. How do you navigate that aspect of abundance? I don't know. It just, none of it really bothers me. I am very, very grateful. It's part of my meditation. I practice gratitude because it is a practice. It bugs me when people are like, I'm grateful for my life. I'm like, are you? Are you actively grateful for your life? But are you truly grateful for your existence, for the little things, all the little things that you're surrounded with, that you are lucky enough to experience? I used to be that person. I was like, yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm grateful. And it's easy to say those things, but it's not easy to practice those things. And I practice those every single day. And I am incredibly grateful. And it's funny, I think the more gratitude I have for all of those things, the less meaning they have. They're fun. I like them. I like going out and getting a nice, pretty new handbag. Who doesn't? But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I'm special. It doesn't mean that I'm successful. It doesn't mean that I'm happy. It doesn't mean anything. It just is something fun. Goals, goals, goals. How do you overcome setbacks or lows? First of all, I'm not a very emotional person, so I don't get like really dragged down by certain things, but I'm human. So there are things that are bummers, of course. There are things that were, unexpected and, not wanted. And I will take them, and I will, once the initial emotion wears off, I will try and take a learning lesson from it. Like if I feel like it's my fault, okay, how can I do things differently next time? What happened? I'll try and just analyze the situation and learn from it. Because that's all we can do. That's the best thing you can do from like a negative situation. The only way to turn it positive is to try and learn something from it. At least that's what I think. Okay, let's end on this fun question. I want to know luxury wish list items. I am even interested in the out of reach dream world items. Wow. Well, we could go there. I mean, luxury with like yacht. No, let's keep it to like handbags and like shoot, like that sort of thing, right? Fashion stuff. Let's just keep it there because we could just go on and on. I mean, I would love an Hermes Birkin 30 black with gold hardware, just basic. I don't even care what leather, Togo, Epsom, whichever, it's fine. It's that the Hermes Birkin, the two that I have, the 25 and the 40. First of all, the 40 is too big, the 25, sometimes a little bit too small. You guys heard me talk about that in my most worn handbags of 2023. The handles are really small. I would just love a 30, and I would like one from the Hermes boutique because both of those, well, the 25 was pre-loved, that was from a friend. The 40 was from a reseller. So, I would really like one from Hermes, from the actual boutique. That would be a dream of mine. Oh, do you know, this is actually on me and my husband's wish list. And it's so funny for him because I just finished explaining he's not very bougie, but we just think it's such an insane object, especially nowadays. but a Louis Vuitton steamer trunk, because no one really travels that way anymore. But like the ones that open up and it looks like a little wardrobe with the drawers and hanging space. I'm like, that is so ridiculous, but how cool are they? They're really, really cool. And I learned when I went to a Louis Vuitton cocktail party that if you get any of their trunks, so they have those little teeny tiny trunks, they have steamer trunks, that you can get like something painted on it, anything that you want. So if you have a picture like of your dog, if you have a picture, you can get that painted onto the trunk. I mean, stop it. That's sort of a dream of ours, to get a Louis Vuitton steamer trunk and get, I don't know, some obnoxious portrait painted on it, just something super tacky. And I don't know, put it in like in the corner of our bedroom. I don't even know what we'd do with it, but we just think it's so, it is like such an absurd object, but so cool at the same time that we need to have one. That is it, you guys. Did I even finish my makeup? I don't think so. See, I'm so bad at talking and doing makeup, but I'm just gonna put on some mascara and some lip gloss and I'm gonna call it a day. So you're not missing much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, as usual, and I will see you in tomorrow's Mishmas video. Bye.